Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, episode 31. So a little reminder about where we left off. We had built a significant amount of our metal refining. We still have a little bit left to complete over here, but I would say it is 90% done. Other things we need to do, we need a bottle emptier to bring in water for the steam room. And I'm also going to need some ladders here for these unreachable builds. Another thing I'm going to want to do is to... well, I'm not going to do that quite yet. Alright, so that looks good. Now, we are running out of hydrogen, which means we're running out of coal. Oh, speaking of which, APV mentioned that I should have these overlap a little bit more, so I will correct them and then explain what the correction is. So I'd rather, at low power, have all my generators on, rather than have individual thresholds. So I've just set them up to fix that. Okay, let's speed time up again. So for the metal refining to take place, I'm going to need a little bit of refined carbon. So I'm going to queue up 15... refined carbon production orders. The auto sweeper is going to automatically do this because the kiln is within range. But what I am going to want is a wheezewort to offset the heat that the kiln is putting off. I'm also going to correct my coal storage problems that I had, which was because I sent all my coal here sort of on accident. So I'm aiming to fix that. Alright, this door could just be default open. The only reason there's a door here is for the power control station to be operable. Then we also want to add refined carbon. And let me pause just a second to say, alright, what do we need in here? We need lime. We also are going to want to gather things that can turn into lime, which means pokeshell and small pokeshell. We are also going to want, let's see, iron ore in here. We are also going to want eggshells, because that turns into lime, and fossils. Copy that setting. Okay, so once a lot of this coal has been moved back to where it belongs, I will paste the settings here so that we can store more materials. We also have decaying food. One thing I wanted to do is to kill off these smooth hatches so that we can replace it with Pokespawn. Now, Pokespawn's a little bit different in that they eat rotted foods, and the foods that they eat are going to have to be submerged in water, or else they outcast. And also, the eggs that they lay piss them off. So there's also a need to sweep up their eggs, and quickly, or we will have issues. We will have problems. What are you? What? Oh, that's it. Okay. It looked like a puddle of water, but it was a it was a smooth egg traveling in my rail network. That honestly had me a little confused for a second. All right. I'm also wherever we are replacing floor tiles, I'm just sweeping up the debris remnants of that. Oh, speaking of which, the puddle that I had was obviously from changing this plastic tile over. I don't know why that didn't occur to me at the time, but, well, it does now. Alright, so construction priorities. Let's have these be 8, and these pipes be 8. So we're getting pretty close to being done here with the metal refining. I'm also going to go all the way down here and reroute my power like this, putting a switch here so I can turn on my pump at will. On top of that, I'm going to want some temp shift plating. So I'm going to mine out some diamond, additional diamond. So the reason for the temp shift plates, it helps transfer heat around more efficiently. So I'm going to initially put temp shift plates right where my bottle emptier is, but eventually I'm going to have temp shift plates on the entire bottom of the steam room, just to help make sure that the water in the steam room gets heated. We still have some coal, whole bunch of it to sweep up. Actually, no, I guess how much coal is here? Yeah, we've swept enough. All right, so let's copy settings, and now we could store the coal and the refined carbon. We have a bunch of refined carbon now. As you can see, it raised the temperature of this room from, I don't know, 70s to 80s, like up a few degrees because of the kiln production. So down here, we're going to want a forever crushing of lime, of eggshell, of pokey shells. We'll do that there. At this point, I'm fairly confident we can go ahead and put an insulated tile here and separate the metal refining room from the rest of the outside. So let's do construction 8 again. Which then means I will have a door here allowing access from this airlock. I'm going to put a pneumatic door here. It will keep the ranch the same dimensions, but allow much, much more quick access to this metal refinery than if we went around the long way. So here's the temp shift plating getting manufactured. And then also, let's go ahead and dump water here and enable auto bottle, which means we'll take it from our water supply and bring it. I'm also going to want more temp shift plates than that. I just queued up a few, but I like the way they look. They're very, very, very expensive, don't get me wrong. But I like the way they look, so I'm gonna put in a whole bottom row of them. Not that I honestly don't believe it's necessary, but I want to, so it's good enough reason for me. Alright, so at this point, what are we waiting on? We have this valve to bring in oil. We don't have a switch here, but we will soon. So I still need to put in a temporary pump that's going to be destroyed. I'm going to put it in there. It will be destroyed. I accept that. I don't have steel yet. I need the oil first before steel. So the way this is going to work is the pump will turn on. The oil will come up this pipe. It will go through the valve, and then it will be stored in our reservoir. Also, this thermal sensor should be 190, not 6.9. Hey, oh, it's saving. Okay, there we are. 190. Just like the other side. Great. Can we get this door? I think what I'm suffering from is creep, is priority creep. So I'm actually going to reset the priorities of everything pretty much everywhere back to a neutral 5. So that I don't have so much priority creep. Now down here, we'll set this to 7. And then these boxes are going to have to be, let's set them to 1. Right, they're really, really, really low priority. Apparently I got a bunch of 5s set up. Okay, there we are. So now we don't have so much priority creep anymore, which is good. Now, certain things are going to need higher priorities just naturally. So that would be things like the power station, coal generator for coal delivery. This rock crusher is no longer needed anymore. In fact, let's deconstruct all of it. And my liquid pump is already overheated, but that's fine. We are delivering oil. Now, I don't want my reservoir up here to fill up entirely. I need a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of space. But we want to fill it up mostly. Alright, auto bottles, I'm going to set to 9 because that's another thing that I do want now. And it is important and time sensitive. This sweeping probably doesn't need to be a 9. But oh well, I already did it. Alright, so now the oil is coming in, and it will be stored in our oil refinery to be used as coolant. This oil is just really a fancy coolant. It is nothing more than a fancy coolant. So once the oil goes into the reservoir, it will then flow into the refinery and be used to make steel. Building, farming, but you don't dig. Ooh. I was going to print you, Ruby, but if you don't dig, I don't know. Decorating, I don't need. Researching, I don't need. So, Weezewort. Hello, Weezewort. Okay, so we're starting to deliver some water, as you can see. And I'm going to set the temp shift plates up to 6. Now, the initial oil is hitting the metal refinery now, and it's going to slowly fill up with oil, acting as a coolant. I'll just keep letting it pump. And then what's going on here is it's doing a temperature check. Basically, the oil to go to my steam chamber has to be above 190, whether it originates from the metal refinery or the reservoir. That's what these two temperature sensors are. Alright, at this point it would be wise to put in Weezeworts, because this will be producing heat pretty soon. And Mr. Liquid Pump, I'm going to turn you off for now, just to see how much oil I have, because I don't want to fill up this reservoir fully. If it's full, it doesn't circulate well. Speaking of circulating well, let's clear some oil. All right. Let's go and keep spreading those 5s around. And I'll try to be more careful about priority creep. I'm going to say that's enough water for now. I'm sure I'm going to want more. So here we go. We have actually made some steel. And when we make steel, it makes very, very, very hot oil. So it's this oil here is passing the 190 Celsius checkpoint mark. And that means it's coming into my steam chamber. It's moving through these radiant pipes, which help to dump heat from the oil into the steam room. So it's coming in at let's say 230 Celsius, and it's exiting at 50 Celsius. So that heat is being transferred into this water. And eventually the water will flash and generate steam. And the more we refine steel, the more heat we produce, the more the water... Oh, here we go. We have the flashover point, and... Yep, all of the water is now steam. Now, I also want to have it be high-pressure steam. The more steam that we have in this room, the more heat it can retain, right? So what I'm doing here is just... I'm going to continue auto-bottling until I have a ton of steam. Alright, overheat damage. How about we break that down? I can replace it with a steam pump. Or a steel pump. And now that we've manufactured some steel. Speaking of steel, I want to earmark a few storages, specifically just for steel. I'm going to do that. Oh, actually, you know what? I regret doing that. Let me sweep that up. So, my steel storage bin, I'm going to put... I'll put it, here. And then I'm also going to put a Wheezewort here. The steel can be pretty hot when it comes out, so hence the Wheezewort. And we'll store our plastic there as a priority as well. Speaking of priorities, the priority 6s for these bins, and then priority 7s for my coal down here. Those are important. Priority 9 for you. Priority 6 for you. 7s. Okay, that looks good. Get a little airflow tile. Oh, you know, I don't even think we're going to reach... Oh, no, we can reach that. Great. So this steel, this bin here is going to be for manufactured steel. And I'm going to have another one for steel and then one for plastic. Okay, that's probably... Once this empties out, it's going to be enough for me. Let's deconstruct this. There's a lot of steam. And then that reminds me, let's get Wheezeworts back in these farm tiles. So now we have steam. Now, the way we've set this up is we only produce steam once this steam hits a temperature 180 Celsius. That's going to be an efficient temperature for the steam turbines to turn on. So we need to heat it up even further. How many? 4 critters are left. These guys should be starving pretty soon. And then I could turn it into Poke Ranch. Cool. We have a lot of like polluted dirt and stuff like that here, and rotted food. So the ranch will be nice. Now let's go Wheezewort this up, and then this will be steel as well, and then this will be priority 7 for plastic. So I'm going to keep my plastic and steel, and we'll have this be 7s as well. My plastic and steel near the airlock by design, so that we have it where we use it most, right? All right, I'm doing a very, very, very high priority sweep because my base's decor is ruined if we, well, if we don't sweep. And I'd like, we don't have anywhere to put the chips, but I'd like to sweep it all up so that it's just a little nicer. There we go. Metal refining is done. I'd probably want a little bit more oil in this oil refinery. The more oil that we have, the... Ooh, you are sparkle streaking. The more oil that we have, the hotter, the more temperature it can store. So let's get a steel pump down here. And that steel pump will be impervious. Well, not impervious, but it will resist the heat of the oil. It won't be destroyed. You know, I think I've watched this oxygen not be cleaned up for long enough. So let's bottle that as well. So, canister emptier. I don't really care at all where this is. Let's put that here. Just trying to clean up a little. So I would say the next big project for me would be reworking the power grid. Well, also getting a Pokey Ranch set up. But the power grid is going to be a big one too. A new unified power grid would be such a nice thing to have. Alright, so what temperature here? 150 Celsius? It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So this oil here is failing the temperature check. Yeah, it's only 117 Celsius. And that way it's getting cycled back to the reservoir. And this is passing the temperature check. It's 246 Celsius. So then it goes to the steam chamber. Basically, I only send hot oil to the steam chamber. Otherwise, it's a bit of a waste. I am about to have a big old brownout, though. That I completely notice. I'm just about out of hydrogen. In fact, let's uncap these so that I make some more hydrogen. The reason why I have these closed is when these are open, I will make a lot more hydrogen, because what's stopping us from making a lot of hydrogen are gas pumps can't pump out the oxygen from this room fast enough, which means that the electrolyzers hit max gas pressure often. If I uncap these vents, our oxygen floods outwards. Ooh, security door is overheated. Our oxygen floods out, which means that we'll use more water in the production of the electrolyzers, but it also means that our electrolyzers won't hit max gas pressure all that often, and as a result, be able to make more hydrogen. And considering I've got an impending power shortage, hydrogen is what I want. So I'm going to uncap the oxygen vents so that we can make more hydrogen. So as you can see, plastic is being delivered. And I'm going to want to significantly plastic up a lot of stuff, I think. Like the rest of this floor. How is our steam? So our steam's creeped up to 160. And I think initially I'm going to disable the second steam turbine. And I'm going to go around and put the Wheezewort fertilizations to 6. It's going to be important to keep our Wheezeworts fertilized, because if they're not, we're going to have temperature problems. And temperature problems are really... if you let the temperature creep up and sneak up to something bad, it's really difficult to correct high temperatures quickly. Alright, the auto bottler is for oxygen. And that way we can sweep up all this, like, stupid oxygen that's been sitting there forever. There we go. We're already moving it. Mohammed's grabbed it. And 175. Yeah, as you can see, the temperature is slowly climbing. Alright, so these are 6s. Yeah, good. Alright, this pump is ready to go. As you can see, this pump's overheat temperature is 275 Celsius, or 527 Fahrenheit, which means that this crude oil will not damage it in any way. Let's see. Building, digging, suit wearing, but you fart a lot. Damn it. Damn it. If you didn't fart, oh, I'd print you in a second. I don't care about that. I don't care about that, especially considering you are unconstructive. So I'm going to reject all. I don't even want the muck root. All right, Hatches, are you going to starve yet? You know what? I'm tired of waiting for you to starve. So, priorities, attacking everybody, very high. I can micromanage my dupes so that they attack from the ladders above, and that way they don't get hurt. Move to here. And trust me, it's worth it. Because smooth hatches are very, 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 very hardy. And they do a lot of damage. So it is worth attacking them from safety like this. Oh, this stupid security door is going to be annoying. So this security door is saying, I'm overheating. It's like, I don't care. I didn't build you. But God knows I'm going to want to destroy you so I don't have this constant warning. Alright, let's just keep watching the combat, though, so I don't get any of my dupes hurt. There is a solo survivor here. I don't know why. But they'll attack him later. Okay, so we're at 180. Alright, Magenta Fairy is attacking from above. Good. You are not attacking from above. Let's get you above. And you are not attacking from above either. Alright, so I'm not going to have a formal critter feeder here. They're going to eat off the ground because it's going to be easier for me to do that. So, what do I want? I want, organic, polluted dirt, rot piles to not be put into this conveyor loader. By design. Then I'm going to rework this a little bit, so I'm actually going to destroy everything that's in there and design it into a pokey ranch. Which means shipping a conveyor chute here. Then tiling up the sides so that we can have a puddle. And then destroying these tiles and replacing them with ladders to maximize the size. So, the utilities are pretty much going to be the same. It's going to be a critter drop-off point. Let's create a copy. What is this made out of? Yeah, gold amalgam's fine. I'll even put it over here. Another thing I'm going to want to do is plastic tile. So, let's rework the floor here. I'm going to have it be mirrored nicely. Like that. And I guess these should be plastic tiles, actually, in hindsight. This is just so that we move around in this facility a little bit more quickly. And, hey, you know that brownout I was saying that was coming? It just hit. Soon I will have the... Oh, jeez. Louise, no more oil, please. Yes, okay. We hit the... No, we didn't. There we go. This might be too much oil. Darn it. Yeah, so the problem with too much oil is, as you can very much see, it gets stuck. Right? There's nowhere for it to go. And that way we're not really heating up our steam anymore. Which means... Alright, will this flow? Did I... Oh, man, we are just a little... Alright, that kills me. But, alright, here's how to deal with it. Because I let this happen. Liquid pipes. Let's go ahead and empty out a whole lot of this oil here. Marked for emptying. And we'll just have to manually remove crude here and put it over here. It's dumb. I really should have caught that, but at least we can fix it. So now as we remove oil, it's going to allow for continuous flow the more we remove. Which also means that this pump, this pipeline, totally removable now. We have all the crude over there that we want, ever. So, let's get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. And as we remove more crude, it will allow for the flow. It's just gonna take a while. I can even have multiple people helping to remove crude. Because soon as soon as we are able to set it up so that the metal refinery output pipe is not full, it will start free flowing. It is a dumb error that I made there, but you know, whatever. I am fixing it. So there is that. All right, so we're almost at the point where we can stop. As you can see, we're starting to free flow here. Now the other problem is I'm having constant power outages, but that's a different issue. That is an issue that should be somewhat self-remedying over time once we rebuild the power grid and incorporate natural gas. Okay, so I'm almost marked for emptying. I still need to empty a little bit more, because it needs to flow more freely. But hey, we're fixing our problem. So really soon we're going to be generating steam power, and that's going to help with our power situation enormously. Now, temperature... Oh yeah, here we are. Now we're generating steam power. And there is going to be... ...180 watts of power being pushed into my power grid from steam. But only when the temperature of the steam is above 180, which is sort of an efficient temperature for the steam turbine to run. Why I don't have two steam turbines? I don't have enough heat to warrant both. Which is why I only have the one. So this looks like it's getting ready. Let's delete one of these ladders and dump some water in there to keep the food that we want to feed our guys from outgassing. And for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a storage bin where we put our polluted dirt and rot piles. Okay, it looks like our water's filling up pretty good. So we'll wait for it to not be germy and then cycle it. All right, so in here, we are going to want organic, rot, and polluted dirt at 9. And then we're going to fill it with water so it doesn't outgas. And this is going to be sweep. Oh, no, not even sweep only. I don't even care. All right. Eventually, what I plan to do is have it be shoot fed. But that's going to take a minute for me to set up. Alright, come on, Steam. I believe in you. The metal refinery keeps getting powered off because I just don't have the power to keep it running. But once this geyser starts erupting in 7 days or 7 cycles, that's going to be a non-issue, because we'll have a steady supply of hydrogen. That's why I wanted to tap into the natural gas. Speaking of which, did we do no progress up here? But that's going to be probably next project. Okay, so liquid. Let's auto bottle water. We'll auto bottle it like 3 times. That should be enough water to keep this from outgassing. Even just once is fine, but 3 sounds pretty good to me. Speaking of water, let's get that dumped. Okay, so that's probably enough. I'll set this to 1. And deconstruct it. So we can put the ladder back in. And then if I do sweeps only... Well, I don't even want to do sweep only. Whoa. Organic. There we go. So one way to do this would be to have a storage bin... somewhere within the range of, let's see, shipping, conveyor loader, no. All right, so it would look something like... Oh, yeah, I could put it over here. All right, a conveyor loader over here. What did I make that out of? Lead? That's fine. Because this is where food rots most. So I'll put the conveyor loader here. And then a shipping rail. Which is going to look very messy. But a shipping rail... That's going to bring... Yeah, it's going to look really messy. I don't care. It's going to bring the rotted food down and drop it right where this bin is. Which means I'm going to allow for... In this storage bin here, which has the eggs, I'm going to allow for rot piles and polluted dirt as a 4. And let's see what we have printable. Cooking, farming, cooking, operating. Ranching, suit wearing. Sorry, guys. I just gonna pass. Alright, so for this construction task, I'm gonna set it up to 7s. I'm going to sweep the granite. Actually, the auto loaders will sweep the granite. I don't even need to do it. Oh, they're having a lot of problems. Oh, no, that's set up right. Why is this so full? Oh, it's just a bunch of algae in there. I see. Alright, so down here, we are going to want to plug this in. And this here is going to accept rot and polluted dirt at 9. So the autoloaders this auto sweeper rather will take dirt out of the storage bin and put it into this conveyor to convey it and dump it into the water, where we can then feed Pokespawn with it. Which then means we're going to want, let's go ahead and put a grooming station. And let's put some flower pots. And marble statues. We'll make it look nice. I'm going to set the priority of my farms to 4. Because I have a lot of food right now and I don't really care to make more of it. Yeah, I still have too much oil here, as you can tell. It's truly backed up and won't flow. So, liquid pipes. I'm going to keep emptying out you, and then let's haul this oil over to our mini pump dump over here. We're getting pretty close to having the right amount of oil in this loop. I just need to empty a little bit more out so that it freely loops. God, that is an error that is going to haunt me, isn't it? Okay, I think that's probably enough. Alright, let's sweep up the remaining oil. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of kilos of oil. But we're dumping it here, and we're going to put it right back into our reservoirs for the oil refinery to tap. Okay, this is looking pretty nice. We'll do Joya in the middle. And then Briar on the ends. We've got rotted food being delivered. Is this delivery automatic now? I believe it is. I believe it is. This conveyor loader is loading. I mean, it just powered off, but I think it's working properly now. Awesome. And pretty soon, our steam's going to be hot enough to start producing steam power. And I think now that we've remedied some of the oil issues that we've had, it is free flowing. So that's going to be really, really good too. So I haven't quite... Yeah, alright. Critters, Pokeshells, and Pokeshell spawns. So now we have a little bit of food in there for them. Not a ton. But enough that we can start feeding them. So that means we gotta go capture some, doesn't it? They tend to be... Oh, there's some. Good. Wranglement 9. Those guys aren't pissed right now. They get really, really, really mad around their own eggs. They're just designed that way. So that if you do ranch them, you basically have to auto-sweep their eggs. Or engineer a solution where they are not near their eggs ever at all. Because they're really aggressive and they're pretty tough. So they'll kill you. I'm going to fiddle with my thermosensor and just say 150 Celsius. Just so that we can fill some battery power back up. Because it is killing me that we're just so power strapped right now. My liquid mini pump is overheating because the oil that we were feeding it was the really hot oil that ran through the metal refinery. Yep, well, it's a one-time problem. All right, let's say 165. So now, as you can see, it's trucking along and making pretty good power, pretty reliable power, and I'm not really having to, you know, I'm not really paying for it. I mean, I'm paying for it by running my metal refinery to produce the heat, but I would run the metal refinery anyway, so in a way, it's free power and free cooling, because otherwise you would end up with coolant, and in this case, I'm using oil as coolant, but you'd end up with coolant that you'd then have to figure out how to chill, because it's going to be super hot. So the beautiful thing about this is it is self-correcting. It's a really good loop. I don't know what else to say. And it's a free, what are we? We're producing 630 watts right now of basically free power. Now, as you can see here, the wattage is based upon the temperature of the steam, which is why I originally had this about 180. 180 runs the steam turbine at about 95-ish efficiency. The reason why you don't want to put really hot steam through it is it will delete the heat, but it only can produce 800 watts of power, so you're going to get wasted potential, which is important not to have superheated steam. Let's say the steam was like 400 Celsius or something. That would be a waste, because your steam turbines would be obviously running at 100%, which means you'd be producing 850 watts of power, but the steam gets intake and then deletes the heat and then spills back out as water, and you lose efficiency. So it's important to thermosensor roughly where the sweet spot is, and the sweet spot's going to depend upon a bunch of factors, like the volume of steam that you have and how many turbines you have, and so on and so forth. But just keep that in mind when you're setting up a steam generator. There's a lot of ways to make it very inefficient, so you have to fine-tune it. Well, I am just about out of time. Oh, hey, we have our first pokies. Cool. And they ate everything. We have no food for them. Oh, I'm going to have to figure that out, too. I'm going to have to go make polluted dirt or something. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. I'm pretty excited about getting steel. Now that we have steel, I could, of course, go straight to space, but really, realistically, I want to shore up my power grid. My power grid is bad. I really want to rebuild it entirely and to integrate hydrogen, natural gas, steam, and coal all into one unified solution, and eventually solar, right? Once we get to space, we're also going to add solar power. So I do want a power station that can accommodate all of that. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate all of the feedback that you give me, and I will catch you all next episode. Farewell, everybody.